Let's take a look at this eye. You've done a great job setting up the eye, I would say, and to finish it, we can just simplify and organize the values a little bit further. I'm going to start by darkening the darkest areas of the eye. Notice how dark the iris is, and even most of the pupil. That almost instantly starts to give the eye more depth, simply darkening the iris. Notice that the right side of the iris completely merges with the pupil, so I'm going to draw it as such. The bottom plane of the top eyelid merges with this mass of eyelashes, so I'm going to darken that as well. You notice the shadow right below the corner of the eye, but because right now it's the same value as the corner of the eye, the shadow reads as the corner of the eye. If I darken the actual corner of the eye, the shadow underneath should start reading as more of a shadow. Notice that the corner of the eye is darker than that cast shadow. I'm looking at shapes of values, not worrying about any detail that I can't see. The eyelashes on this side mass together to form a flat shape, so I draw that as well. I want to define the shape of the iris a little bit. There's a slightly sharper line here, and I can continue darkening the iris on this side too. There's really only one slightly lighter area of the iris that doesn't merge with the pupil. Next, notice that the white of the eye is darker than the highlight on the lower eyelid. The entire white of the eye is actually in shadow, and for it to read as being in shadow, we need to darken it considerably. The white of the eye, or the sclera, is rarely actually white. There's usually some sort of gradation there. I'm going to darken this light spot here and create the gradation on the top of the eyelid. Notice how much darker it is here on the reference. On this side as well. Look how much brighter the highlight is on the top plane of the lower eyelid. That's what I'll focus on next, making it look like light is illuminating that top plane. There's also a slightly lighter part of the white of the eye right here. I'm paying close attention to this light shape, specifically where it ends or gets darker on both sides. I notice an angle change that I missed here in this dark shape, and that this highlight could be brighter. I'll lighten a couple of dark spots here, just as I would do with my kneaded eraser. Next, before we address eyelashes, we first need to look through them or behind them in order to see and draw the gradation that occurs on the front plane of the lower eyelid. If you ignore the eyelashes, if you look through the eyelashes, can you see that on the plane that's facing us here, there is a subtle gradation? I established that simply by filling in the lighter spots of value. Once you have that, you can draw the eyelashes and the shadows cast by the eyelashes, but we need to create that bottom form first. I'm going to lighten the highlight at the corner of the eye here, both by actually lightening it, which you can do with an eraser, and by darkening the area that surrounds it. Remember that one way to lighten a light value is to surround it with darker value. Next, I want to darken the left side of the white of the eye slightly more. This line here I can just clean up a little bit. There isn't really a highlight here, so I'll darken that. And I even out some of these halftones by filling in the lighter spots of value.